morning, everyone. Welcome to Day to Day Knits. I think this is episode 23. And Joseph just got home. Okay, so there might be some noise. Anyway, as you can see, this is a totally different background. So let me just start with some non-knitting stuff. But that green wall is gone. We have moved out of our apartment. We're selling it because we're moving, and some of you that have seen older videos might already know this. We're moving because we found different jobs. So I forget where I was. But anyway, alright, so we're selling our apartment, we're moving. Right now we're living at Joseph's parents. All of our stuff is in the boxes. And I've been super overworked, and school has been just a ton of work, so I've barely had time to knit. And obviously to film. I meant to do some tutorials for my out of sort socks, but I'm going to try and get those done this afternoon after we come back from Nashville, from looking at the house. But we'll see. I want to edit this video, do 2 tutorials, and edit those and put them out hopefully tonight. Not this video, but the other ones. This video takes longer to edit. But anyway, alright, so moving out. Oh, and if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen something I put on my stories, but the house we're looking at today has an attic. I think it's insulated. Hopefully it is insulated. That has this wall that's just filled with cubbies, and I was just thinking how good my yarn would look in there. And I also really enjoy oil painting, so maybe that's something I could also do in the attic. It does have a fan, so as long as I open the windows, it shouldn't be too bad. Not that painting with oil paints is toxic, but some of the products are, and either way it leaves a super intense smell. But it would be nice to have all of that upstairs, because I wouldn't have to like move my tripod every time I film, put it away. I could just have a whole thing set up in there, not have to move it every time. And maybe I don't think I would paint the wall behind me in such a dark color, like that, the dark green that I had, maybe a pink or something, I don't know, something different. And the rest of the room just be white, because it is an attic, so I want as much light as I can. So anyway, moving, it's just a nightmare. Alright, and now to start with knitting stuff. So this is the Traveling Woman shawl. It is a very good like springtime shawl. It's not very long, as you can see. It's more like a shawlette. Like it's long, it's just not deep. But I like to just wear it like this. Or sometimes, if I don't have my leather jacket, if I have a shirt that buttons up all the way up, which this one doesn't, I would tie it like this and just stick the ends inside, like that. You can have an idea. So it would be buttoned and just be like that. And that would keep me warm. This keeps me a little bit warm, but as it is open, it's not super bad. And, oh, it's by Liz Abinante, or Abinante. I've no idea how to pronounce that last name. And the yarn, which I will put the name, because I'll write the name here, because it is a really long name. But this is not something I'd go for. In terms of colors, I used it because it was different, And my mother-in-law, Sherry, gave it to me. She's very sweet. She gives me things all the time. Lots of yarn. Like, she goes to the store and sometimes she just gets me a bowl of yarn. And I love all of her choices. Sometimes it's things that I would not pick myself, but then I end up wearing every day. And now that I have these new headphones, the green in here actually matches the green of the headphones, so that's fun and different. But it's basically just lots of grays, and it has some blue and some of that green. So it really goes with most things. Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing today. And I have two, not FOs, but two projects, webs to talk about. This one is one I've been working on the most. And where's the front? That's the front. So this is, you can see the body is on my needles. For the first time I tried to work on the sleeves first, and that was nice. It was a good idea. But for the first time knitting this pattern, this is the Staple by Park Williams, and I think it's a bulky weight. But basically you can do all sorts of things to create your own bulky weight. I'm using 4 fingering yarns. Most of these are sock yarn that I use for socks. Some of them, as you might recall from an earlier episode, are these little balls of yarn that my friend Jane Olsen gave me. And I thought I'd do a close-up just so you can see how crazy mixing all the colors can be. The sleeves are honestly probably too big. And the way I did this yarn setup was I grabbed one skein, I weighed it, and then I split it into 2 skeins of the same weight. One of those skeins I split into half once again, so then I have a quarter of the weight for one sleeve, a quarter of the weight of the skein for another sleeve, then half of the weight of the skein for the body. So then I could more or less follow the same scheme of colors, more or less. Just, I wasn't actually keeping them, I was at the beginning, keeping them in order and using them in order. But then, you know, when you travel, you can't keep the skeins in order. So I was just like, oh, around this time I more or less started with the yellow skein. So let me just start with that yellow when I finish my next skein. Oh, it seems that here I started, you can tell there's a sharp contrast color change there. That's because here I started using my Mondine pink, dark pink. And you can, oh, I wonder if I use the stripe yarn here, because you see how I have, I had not noticed that before. Interesting. I wonder. Anyway, I can tell, oh, here, that's more or less where I start my pink. So once I get to the same spot in the body or in the other sleeve, then I know, oh, it's time for me to start my pink. That's what I do. And right now I am using this one, which is a Madeline Tosh sock. That is a truly beautiful yarn. Mostly it's white with lots of blues, and then sometimes it has pink and orange in there. But I've noticed wearing my socks, washing them, that the blue then makes the whole sock blue. Like you lose the white. There's no more white. And I wonder what's going to make to this sweater. Also because I'm wearing this one that I also used for socks. And this one is the same thing, but instead of being a blue that bleeds, it's the red. The red bleeds. So I'm curious to see how much of the sweater will bleed and make it more of the same, or like more subtle transitions. The other one I'm using is this Mondine that I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, I have a whole skein. I can use this for something else, but I decided to just use it from where I am right now till the end of the sweater, just to keep something in a lighter color, because once I get to the green, it becomes really dark. And if I compare this sleeve with the other sleeve, okay, how different they are. It's funny. But you can tell, like, when I got there, I did not have any other colors left for this sleeve. So it just became green, but I want something more like that. So, yeah, but isn't that fun how different it is? Well, I am loving to knit this because as I get to the end of the day and I'm just exhausted and I need first something that is just knits, but secondly something that also keeps me captivated, I think that's the word, but basically interested in this project is the best. I don't have to think about it, but since I have all these changes in color, I keep wanting to knit more, and I have all these mini skeins, so basically I am almost always at the end of a skein, and I'm like, oh, let me just tie another skein to this because I'm using the magic knot. Magic knot? I don't know if it's the magic knot. It's a knot where you end up having like two ends like that, but knot it. Obviously this is, I can't knot my fingers. But yes, so basically it just makes me want to keep knitting on it. And since it is still cold outside, even though it's practically the middle of April, we've had some warm days, but most of it has been cold days. I can keep it on my lap and still keep me just a tiny bit warmer. And because I've been so tired and just I've had no time for anything, I have not had time to work much on my out of sort socks. Now this is a finished sock. I think you had seen it last time. I think I had finished it last time, or maybe I hadn't, maybe I was close to. I can't remember if I had gotten to the cuff or not. But this is a knee-high sock that adapts to the size and shape of the wearer's legs through increases and decreases at the back. And it's toe up, which means that you can just basically split your yarn in half more or less and just keep working until you run out of yarn. And I managed to add the elastic and ribbon, and I ended up making a decision on that based on y'all's opinions. And I don't know what this is here for, but I ended up going with this elastic for the knee because I like to have both the elastic and the ribbon. People don't have to do that. I would suggest to at least pick one of those and not just have nothing, because these socks are knitted. They are not going to stay up a whole day unless you reinforce them somehow. And the ribbon is this one that is like a beige brown with pink decks. And I bought this, it was either on Etsy, I think it was on Etsy, or it could have been on Mood. Mood is a store in New York that became very well known with a fashion program where people made their dresses. I can't remember. It had Heidi Klum in it. But I like to go there and look at their fabrics and ribbons sometimes. I really like the idea of sewing. I'm not very good at it. But I have all of these ideas, so sometimes I just go to their website and look at things. And anyway, these are the choices. Where did I put the elastic? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna first put my elastic, and hopefully I'll do that today and film how to do it. And then I'm gonna put my ribbon. Yes, I think it's gonna look pretty. I'm happy with this choice. Thank you all for leaving comments last time, letting me know what you think about this, and also what you think about the order of things I should be knitting. Something else though, I'm just going to do a little detour and I'll be back to these socks. But it was my birthday on April 3rd. I did do a 28% discount on my patterns for that week, which I think was last week. Because I mean, turning 28%, I thought that would be fun and different. So maybe some of you saw that. I posted it on Instagram. Some of you didn't. That's all right. But I forget where I was going with this. Oh yes, it was my birthday. So I got some yarn as a present. I didn't buy myself any yarn, although today I'm thinking of, if we have time, going to the knit store that is in Nashville. So it's the one that I would be going to as I'm leaving Knoxville. And it's called House of Yarn. And I thought maybe I could, if I end up going there after looking at the house and having lunch. Joseph has no patience for it. But luckily they have one of those chairs that men can just sit in at the stores. Or, you know, children accompanying their family. Anyway, I'm just all over the place. I'm so sorry, guys. Yes, so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll film it, and if I do, I'll post it in here. But other than that, I did get some yarn for birthday, gosh, for my birthday. But it is packed up, so I did not bring it with me this weekend. But in it, there is some silk yarn that is apparently just the right quantity to do a Love Note t-shirt. So I'm thinking of doing that and taking it on my vacation, because Joseph and I are going to spend a month in Portugal. That's really exciting. Visiting my family, bringing his parents for a week as well to visit the island where my mom is from. And I'm thinking of just, maybe that is a project I need to do next. But in the meantime, I have ordered the yarn to do my dad's vest, which is his vest by Church Mouse Yarns and Tees. I think that's what it's called. And I've ordered it, so it should be on the way to Joseph's parents' house. And then I can start working on that. And, I don't know. I'm going to try and do as much on it as I can after the yarn arrives. Sometimes the yarn takes a couple of weeks. Sometimes it takes a whole month. And so I might not be able to work on it before I leave on vacation, but we'll see. But then that is definitely what I'm going to do next. In terms of knitting something that is not designed by me. So going back to the out of sorts socks. You might have remembered that I did the toes for a tutorial that is now on YouTube. It is a tutorial on how to do the cast on, but then I finish the toes and then I show you how you can't tell any like seams or openings or anything about the toes. It's just a perfectly knit stitch that looks like I just kept going that way. Anyway, I think there's more or less around here that I stopped knitting where this pin is. And this, from this finger to the top, this is what I did on Thursday. I had the deadline on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, I decided to take a couple of hours break, and I did all of this. Isn't that amazing? Now I just have to work on the leg. So since I don't have yarn to work on the sweater, because I left the rest of my yarn in Knoxville, because now I am in Clarksville and we're gonna go to Nashville to look at the house. I only have this to work on, plus like 6 sewing projects that I have right here next to me. And that's all I'm going to work on while I edit the videos, presuming I have the time to do that. Because I cannot work on this in the car. I could work on the sweater, but not on this, because I get car sick very easily, get motion sickness, and not ideal to work on it in the car. And I'm holding my project in this super cute bag from Knit Picks that says Wool Enemy #1, and then it has a moth. And I'm working with these 2 yarns, and I'll write those on my show notes. But this one's super wash, I got it for Christmas. This one is easy wash, very splitty to apply, and it's just white. And I thought those go great together. It has just enough contrast. Yes? Sing. Alright, so I have to go now because I have to go and see a house. But y'all have a wonderful weekend. Wanna say bye? Alright, bye.